What is up, YouTube? Captain ABC here, and today we're doing another Duel Links episode or video. We got some big news recently. Last video we talked about Zexa World coming to Duel Links finally, and it will be maintenance starts tonight at 11 or like 11:59, and it'll go till probably like 2. And due to me having a class very, very early in the morning tomorrow, I probably won't be able to upload until Wednesday of this week. But we got good news. That video will probably be a unlocking Zexa World video, and I'm going to try to get 10,000 gems. I'm not too far off. I'm going to try to get 10,000 gems to be able to go into that box. Because DD Crow is in it. Fiendish Chain, which is the whole reason why I saved all my gems. And a lot of generic XZ support and Stellar Knights. So I'm probably going to go ahead and get every card in that archetype just to have another deck to be able to show on the channel, because as of right now I have quite a few decks built, but I need a little more variety. It's a little more difficult being unable to have a ton of decks because I refuse to spend any actual money on this game until maybe someday I might be making money on these videos and I can put money into the game. But as of right now, I refuse because it's digital, and I would much rather have the physical cards than the digital ones. So let's go in. There's some big news that has to do with PvP, obviously. Upcoming updates. We'll go ahead and go through that. New mission circuit. Another Taya, and this whole mission circuit doesn't even include the Zexa World coming out, but it includes another legendary duelist. A shark never lets its prey escape. That's pretty exciting because that means we're gonna get all the shark, hopefully all the shark XZs. It'll probably be UR or something like that, the rank 4 shark XZs, and that'll be really good because maybe potentially maybe Dino Rabbit would be a thing in Duel Links. That would be pretty cool. I didn't play the TCG while Dino Rabbit was a thing, but that would be pretty interesting. And so we'll go back in to the information, the little thing right here. So obviously Zexa World will be added very soon on the 29th. We'll have an update sometime tonight, which is the 28th, and it'll probably go till 2ish, and then Zexa World will be unlocked and we will officially have XZs. And I actually think I'll be able to get 10,000 gems because we're getting a new bot. Well, depending on how they do it, they might just put that it might just be an extra 500 gems rather than you get the 1,000 gems for the new world plus the 500 gems for a new box. I'm hoping you get 1,500 total, because that would be great. Because I could definitely have 10,000 gems by the time the video. I might just wait until I get 10,000 gems to open all those boxes, because I'm going hard in that. Because Stellar Knights plus Fiendish Chain is going to be real good. So, if you're an avid Duel Links player, we got a new Forbidden Unlimited list and skill balancing update today, and it's pretty interesting. So let's hop into this. About skill balancing, I'll save the Forbidden Unlimited list for last. So they're changing Switcheroo, Restart, Bandit, Shadow Game, Access Denied, Ojama Overflow, Show of Nightmares, Moth to the Flame, Afterlife Lockdown, and Red Eyes Fusion. Obviously, These first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those first 7 skills were broken. Absolutely just not healthy for the game. Restart, I could understand restart not getting touched, but it, like it says, it does give you a much higher chance of drawing a good hand, especially if all of your deck is comprised of good cards. Obviously, that's really good. Switcheroo lets you pitch a card, add another card, but you just shuffle it back in the deck. I never saw a problem with this card, even with the Bandit Key stuff. I never saw a problem with the skill because they have the same likelihood of drawing the same card, the same exact card that they put back into the deck. And that's why I never once played that skill. So let's see the changes. Restart. Can be used only once after starting hands are dealt. Redraw your starting hand. Your first draw will be skipped. If you use the skill will not activate if your deck does not contain 7 or more copies of each spell and trap. That means that basically either one, you are playing arrow mages because they probably run about 7 monsters and the rest are spells and traps, or you have to run a very large deck. And we now know from something later that it's not a very good idea to run 30 cards anymore at all whatsoever, which is kind of sad because I've been playing with a 30 card deck and it's been doing really well. You'll see later in the video. Switcheroo. But the reason I didn't mind restart because originally it got redone to where it skipped your first draw phase, and that extra card when you're going second is needed because most of the time, for one, honestly, if you go second in Duel Links, you're probably going to win. It's gotten a lot better now that we have actual genuine spell, trap, and monster negation now. But in earlier iterations of Duel Links, if you went first, you lost. Especially in higher play. That's just how it was. So Switcheroo. We'll go over Switcheroo now. Can be used each time your life points decrease by 1,500. Return 1 card from your deck, draw it. This skill can only be used once per duel. That's good, because now Bandit Keith can't just keep on switching out and getting another Alistair back to hand. Basically, the Neos Fusion Alistair deck, that's good. Bandit can be used if your life points are at 1,500 or below. Return 1 card from your hand to your deck, then select 1 set card your opponent's spell and trap and steal it. This skill can only be used once per duel. That's good. I think they just changed it to once per duel, and that was it. That's much needed. Shadow Game. Can't stand that skill, especially when it's paired with, Lava Golem the deck. Basically, just burn you, and then by the time if you go past turn 9 without trying to be Lava Golemed, and you just keep pitching cards to grave, you're gonna end up burning yourself to death anyway. So that's why they're obviously doing this. At the end of the turn, both players lose life points equal. It's both players now. At the end of turn, both players lose life points equal to the number of cards engraved, times 100, max 400. Oh, okay. That's cool. Sweet. So, it will only go up to 400 now. That's nice. That's really good. That makes it so much better. So, it can still it still burns your opponent, but it also burns you, but it can only be done at 400. The skill will not be applied to a player with 1,000 or less life points. That is exactly why this skill was dumb. It was not fun to mess with at all. Because, I mean, once you got there, and you finally got into a situation where you can go for game next turn, you're probably going to get burned to death, no matter what. And that's why this skill was just not fun. Access denied. Oh, that was it was a fun couple weeks when access denied Star Blast was a thing. Yeah. Real fun mechanic. Real fun skill. Was never ever used until Star Blast came to the game. Just saying. But they fixed it. Can be used from 5th turn and onward when you have 1,000 or less life points. Until the end of your turn, neither player can summon an effect monster nor activate the effects of their monsters. This skill can only be used once per duel. So, has to be way later in the game. Can't be on the first turn from now on. That's good. I don't think it was only be able to use once per duel in the first place. And it's only effect monsters, and you can still use spells and traps. So, that's good. They made it to where you can't lock your opponent down on the first turn. Dragoonities. Yeah. Ojama Overflow. Never had a problem with this deck, personally, but whatever. This skill can be used from the 5th turn and onward, so way later in the turn, thank goodness. Well, there was one time that I got burned to death because of the whole Ojama thing. That was actually a deck in the TCG. Ojama burn. Anyway, play as many copies of Ojama token as your possible side of the field in defense position. This can only be used once per duel, so that's nice. Show of Nightmares. I hated this skill. Witchcrafters could very easily abuse this skill, especially if they milled. Especially if they used a very broken card. That grass looks greener. They could just add it back. Or just add any Witchcrafter spell back, and they could already do that anyway with their monsters. So I'm glad this skill got changed. Can be used if you have 3 or more spells in your grave. Add 1 random card, then return 1. Okay, so you still get to. It's 1 random spell from your graveyard, and you have to have 3 or more. So that makes it much better, and then you also lose a card. This is literally just for Witchcrafters, because the more cards they have in their hand, the bigger Veer gets, or any other spellcaster that they have in general. No more, 9,000 attack Veers when you're trying to grind them out and trying to be able to get past their monster negation. Yeah, that skill was ridiculous. I'm glad they changed it. Moth of the Flame. Still not going to be used, but we'll read it. The speed of the turn count for Petite Moth you control equipped with Cocoon of Evolution goes twice as fast. In addition, you control Petite Moth equipped with the Cone Evolution. Add the following cards to your hand from outside of your deck in that order: Larvae Moth, Great Moth, and Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. Still not going to be played. Sorry. Afterlife Lockdown. I didn't even know this was a skill. I'm upset that I didn't grind all of the cubic events, because basically the whole cubic deck is now in Duel Links. Well, besides Crimson Nova, which is the best card in that archetype. We have a guy at our locals that played cubics for a long time. That card is ridiculous. But there's a reason. It's not in Duel Links, because it burns for 3,000 for each copy on the field. Yeah, glad that's not in there. Let's read it. Can be used when you control a cubic monster during this turn. Opponents monsters destroyed in battle return to their opponent's decks instead of their grave. This card can only be used once per duel and once per turn and twice per duel. I mean, that's okay. I don't know what the original skill was, so I don't know what it did. But it's pretty nice not having stuff engrave. Keeping your opponent from being able to use stuff engrave, because right now, obviously, graveyard effects are the name of the game. If you have stuff engrave, you're probably going to win. But the newest box will help that with a card called DD Crow. And some other changes that we're about to go into. And then the last is Red Eyes Fusion. Can be used if your life points are 2,400 or less. Haha. Return 1 Red Eyes card from your hand or 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon from your graveyard. In your deck, add 1 Red Eyes Fusion. That is really cool. That means I'm definitely not using my SR Dream Ticket on a Red Eyes Fusion. I'm literally going to be playing this skill. Because if you're playing Red Eyes, there's going to be a Red Eyes Engrave, and that's basically a free skill as long as you're at 2,400 or less. So I would highly suggest that if you play this deck, you have to run Cosmic Cyclone. I know it's difficult to fit Spell and Trap removal in a Red Eyes build because of how many cards take up. How many cards take up for the Red Eyes engine. So use Cosmic Cyclone and you'll be able to use this skill very easily, and you also have Spell and Trap removal in the first place. Because yeah, that's just good. It's a good skill. Overall, I'm glad that they touched Show of Nightmares and Access Denied. With the introduction of Star Blast as a card, Access Denied was a completely just unfair skill that is in this game. And then Show of Nightmares, I can't stand that they were just able to add any spell from their grave. Because obviously they're going to be in whatever spell that they want to recycle. They can recycle it anyway, but might as well get it a turn early or something like that. So I'm glad that they changed that. And the big part. Forbidden and Limited list. This is going to change a lot. And it might help. It's going to help the meta. Thank goodness. So let's look into it. Alrighty. As you can see, the very first forbidden cards in Duel Links. Very rightfully so. That Grass Looks Greener and Cyberstein. I'm glad these were both banned. That Grass Looks Greener was okay when it originally came out. But when they introduced a zombie archetype that literally preys on having cards engrave, they should have gotten rid of this immediately or had the foresight to understand, oh hey, we're putting a deck, a full archetype that has a lot of powerful monsters for this game that completely rely on the graveyard. Most zombie decks rely on the grave, and that Grass Looks Green is at 1 in the TCG anyway. So it's powerful. But it was at 3. Then it went to 1, and now it's banned. Well, on the 14th. Rightfully so. Broken. Just... And I can't... I mean... When it originally came out, first thing I thought of, Zombie Lightsworns. So I climbed the ladder with Zombie Lightsworns. Yeah, we might not have Mizuki in the game, but I was able to get the Legend with it, and it worked out great because Plague Spreader Zombie's a card, and you were able to get any any level 6 synchro that you wanted out onto the field with a bunch of spell and trap removal. Because that grass, yep, it was just too much. Cyberstein, I'm glad it's forbidden as well. Duel Links mainly has 20 card decks, and it is very, very easy to filter through 20 cards, and it's very high likelihood that you draw that one card if you have a 20 card deck. So you just get Cyberstein and bring out Ojama King and lock down the whole game. And you literally can't do anything unless you have Treacherous. Yep. Literally have to have Treacherous Trap Hole. That's the only way you can get past it. And you also have to be able to go second. Yeah. So, rightfully banned. The first 2 banned cards in the game. Very powerful. And Shiranui and Witchcrafters are going to have a heavy loss because of it. Now, Witchcrafters, I feel like can still do well with only 20 cards, because that means they're just going to be able to draw into their pieces rather than have a one card I win button. And Cyberstein needed to go anyway. Limited to 1. Star Blast. Should have never been in the game in the first place, especially with a skill like Access Denied. Needlebug Nest. Yay. Okay. Basically just not allowing decks to dump more cards into the grave. Personally, I use Needlebug Nest for a very degenerate Gem Knight FTK, and it was very consistent at the time. I'm not proud about it, but it was fun. Don't play Gem Knight FTK. Don't play it. It's mean. You can still play it. It's a lot more difficult because you have to draw the right stuff. You can't get it on the first turn anymore, but it's still fun. I've never shown that deck on the channel. It's too degenerate. Revival Gift. I don't even know what this card does. Select one tuner monster from your grade, special summon it, and also 2 tokens. There was a deck that was... Yeah, there was a deck that was... It's like... What was it doing? It was summoning like Doomsday... It was using like Doomsday Fire, and that card that's... Your opponent chooses a monster to give to them. To give to yourself. And it was just... It wasn't a fun deck to play. Actually, I have a replay against that deck. It was... I saved it. Gold Sark. With Sark at 1. This card will be added to limited 2 list along with Life Charge Brigade to prevent. Oh, okay. So I think it was limited to 3 maybe? Or was it was at 1? And Charge of the Light Brigade, that's basically saying, hey, Shiranuis aren't gonna have a free pop or a free special summon from deck, while also running the Lightsworn engine, because now if you want to run both of them, not gonna happen. You're never gonna open Charge of the Light Brigade, honestly. And thankfully, I only have 2. I'm fine with that, and I don't have a Gold Sark because I'm not paying money. Anyway, Karkuris. I didn't know this was a problem. This card will be limited to prevent Karkuri decks from having access to generic limited to... What? I don't know what else they could use, but okay. Keeper of the Dragon Magic helps. It helps Neos Fusion decks not be as good. It's going to be a lot more difficult because now they can't open... If they want to run it, either they're going to run 2 Neos Fusion or 2 Dragon Magic. They're not going to run the 1. That's why they did it. Neos Fusion. And Blackbird Close. I didn't like that card. It was really dumb. A little difficult to get off sometimes. But now that means Black Wings has 3 limited to 2 cards in their decks. So there's going to be a lot of trade-off, and Black Wings aren't going to be near as prevalent now. Well, they're still good. It's just they're probably just not going to play a counter trap anymore and just set up a big board of a lot of Black Wings and maybe an Ancient Pixie Dragon. Witchcrafter Holiday. Yeah, I'm glad that they can't use Charge of the Light Brigade anymore and draw 2 cards. You know, that's always good. The music stopped in my headphones. Hope my headphones didn't die. Nope, they're still alive. Okay. I'm just crazy. And then limited to 3. You know what? I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I probably just got a call. I'll check that. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, wife called. Anyway, so Witchcrafter Holiday 2, now they can't use the Lightsworn engine as effectively. And they could still have Show Nightmares to add that back, but have fun with the RNG of adding one random card. Just saying. And then limited to 3. Had a feeling this was going to happen pretty soon. Alistair was limited to 3. The Invoked engine has been one of the easiest engines. It's been prevalent for a year. Black Wings have been prevalent for a year. It's time that Duel Links brings in some new decks into the meta. The recent list helped slow down Dark Magician a little bit. And they're obviously hitting Shiranuis and Witchcrafters right now. Shiranuis has been here for too long. Alistair has been here, Invoked anything has been here for too long. I think this is a good move so far. I can't remember off the top of my head what exactly is limited to 3 that would also be played in that. I guess Cosmic Cyclone for sure. So now, no matter what, basically if they want to use a limited to 3 thing, they'll have to run 2 Alistair and 2 Invocation. Most run 3 and then 2 Invocation. So that helps with deck building. And then no longer on the list, Dragon Dark and Mallow. Mallow should have never been on the list in the first place, in my opinion. They should have hit a UR, not a common, basically. What did this even do? It was a foolish burial for the. Whatever. Okay, I guess. And then Thunder Dragon Dark is no longer on the list. So Thunder Dragon Dark was limited to 3. So Chaos builds can come back, I guess. It's just Charge of the Light Brigade being it too is nice. But yeah, that is the. We'll look at the last list. I know one of the only changes was Shiranui's. And then this and Amazon's Princess. So yeah, that is all the new information. A new ban list will be coming out on the 14th. I like the changes. Maybe Shiranui is just gonna finally be dead. I doubt it, but it needs to be dead. It's been here for too long. Invoked, Neos Fusion, all that, been here for too long. Maybe it'll help out a little bit. And that Grasslook Screener being banned is a very good thing, but it kind of makes me sad because, personally, I was actually going to be showing off this deck in the next episode, but I'm running a 30-card Lightsworn Blue Eyes build that is very reliant on that Grasslook Screener. So, this deck in particular is dead. When the ban list comes out, at least. It will... Because this deck already bricks. When it bricks hard. And that's why you play Ultimate Dragons. So, anyway, that's really all I have today. Just a general ban list update and a health of the game update. Just be excited. Zexal War comes out tomorrow. We're going hard in the paint. Obviously, I got Kaiba up to 29 to get all his gems, and then I'm going to be grinding out some other. I have 2 other characters that I'm very close to having the 200, 250, 250 gems. Excuse me. And If we can get to 9,000, then we get the extra 1,000. We'll have 10,000 gems to go into the box because it's going to be a very good box. I don't know how well the Satellar Knight archetype is going to be throughout the rest of the game, but DD Crow is going to be a good card to have from now on. I no longer have to run Skullmeister, and then Fiendish Chain is a monster negation. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be real good. So thank you all for watching. That was a Forbidden Limitless update with some information regarding Zexal World. Thank you so much, Captain ABC.